The breach of the Nova Kakhovka dam seems to have made a very little difference for Kyiv's plans in its attempt to wrest its territories from Russia's chokehold. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has said that counter-offensive and defensive actions are underway against Russian forces in an apparent confirmation of the long-awaited pushback of Putin's troops. He confirmed this much-anticipated development in a joint news conference with visiting Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. He also mentioned that his top commanders were in a positive mindset as their troops are taking the enemy head-on in intense fighting along the front line. The comments come after an escalation of fighting in the south and east of Ukraine. Confirming the development, Britain's Ministry of Defense has also said that Ukraine has penetrated the first line of Russian defenses in some areas and is making good progress in its counter-offensive. It added that Kyiv has conducted significant operations over the past 48 hours in southern and eastern parts of the country. This development is taking place when both nations are at loggerheads with respect to the blame game going on after the blowing up of the Nova Kakhovka dam, but it hardly made any difference for Kyiv in terms of its military strategy. Both Kherson region and the area around Bakhmut have come under heavy fire and shellings. The talks of Ukraine's counter-offensive had been doing rounds since quite a while, and there were no confirmations about the timing or the scale of the attacks. The Ukrainian troops include specialized tank units armed with Western weapons and trained in NATO tactics. The attacks in the country's southeast mark a significant push into Russian-occupied territory. The offensive, which Ukrainian officials previously said they would not mark with an announcement and would not have a clear beginning, is expected to unfold over months and to serve as a test of a US-led strategy to prepare Ukrainian forces with increasingly advanced weapons and tactics. According to multiple reports, Ukrainian troops are attempting two separate thrusts into the southeastern Zaporizhia region and one near the eastern town of Bakhmut. Many military analysts had predicted that Ukraine would attack the southeast in an effort to divide the Russian forces in the east of Ukraine from the Russian forces in the southern peninsula of Crimea. One of Russia's few successes in the fighting was to establish a land bridge along Ukraine's southeastern coast last year, linking up the two groups of Russian fighters. As Ukraine tries to sever that link, it will have to face Russian troops that have had months to prepare. The Russians have reportedly built multi-layer defenses that include trenches, minefields, and concrete barriers in the areas where Ukraine is considered most likely to attack. In a further challenge for the Ukrainians, much of the terrain in the southeast is flat farmland, providing little cover for armies trying to advance.
Subscribe to Oneindia channel and never miss an update.